I'm Tiffany Souter, entrepreneur, wife, mom to 4 girls, and a woman figuring it out just like you. If you're tired of living a life of have to and finally ready to build a life of want to, then you're in the right place. Come on, let's go build your life of and. So this episode is really kind of like a smorgasbord, a casserole of topics. We're doing like a midsummer update and just taking a look at like what's going on, how are we doing against our priorities, sharing candidly about some, I don't know, a specific relationship journey JR and I are on. I didn't ask him beforehand if I could share it, but I will before we publish. And then just like giving my 2 cents on a few things that are going on inside of our household. That summer is not a time where I feel like we're executing. We're not necessarily in this like high strategic part of the year. And so this is kind of that. It's like a smorgasbord, a casserole.
I like the casserole.
The casserole.
So relevant to the working mom.
Spell smorgasbord.
Couldn't even begin.
Nobody even knows what letter it starts with.
Is it a real word? We don't know. It starts with
sh. Okay.
SCH.
Something. Yes. A casserole. Yeah. So this is a casserole episode. So hopefully we have some fun with it and then also learn a few things.
Yes. Okay. Let's start with Europe. You just got back.
Yes. We're still a little bit in jet lag.
Yes, I imagine.
But coming this way is way easier than going that way. And I feel like it's a first world problem to be tired after being in Europe. But yeah, we went to celebrate our 20-year anniversary. And I'm so grateful that I always have the plan of us going somewhere every year. JR actually is the one who gets us over the hump of like pushing purchase on the plane tickets. I'm so grateful that he does that. And I'm so grateful that he's like supportive of just spending the money on going places. I was talking to a young couple at church on Sunday. We got home Saturday night. They were like, asking about the trip. And I was like, do you guys get away? They've been married 7 years. And they're like, no, like we want to. And I was like, look, 20 years in, it's the French Riviera and Prague. And so it's fancy and whatever. But it was not always that way. But I do feel like we have always really had the practice of getting away together once a year, at least for 3 nights. I think we were gone for 7 or 8 this time. So I'm just like encouraging listeners, fight for that time. Figure out which one of you is going to be the one that pushes send on or like picks purchase on the plane tickets or drive somewhere. It doesn't have to be fancy, but the practice of getting away is like so important. A couple of things. I like went on a walk and was just reflecting on like, okay, what were my observations of this trip? Because how we did it was we had plane tickets, we knew where we were going, and we had hotels. That was all. We didn't have like any tours. We had made reservations at this restaurant in Ez, which is like in the south of France, that my mom and dad had said was going to be super nice. And that was incredible. But other than that, it was just like, we'll see what happens when we get there. And I just think for like right now in the season of our lives, it just like felt right. Our lives are so scheduled and programmed. And one of my observations was that like not having any plans connects JR and I in the solving.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Of like being like, hey, what are you feeling like right now? What am I feeling like right now? You know what I mean? It like makes us be present together in a way where it's like if the car was picking us up at 9 and we were doing this tour at 11:30 and it's almost like an outside of us thing happening that we're just participating in versus like really being in the moment together and like feeding off of each other's emotional like moment. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And I think that is a really important. We are way better at logically connecting than we are emotionally as a couple and as people. And I think it gave us time to just like be still together in a way that is not our natural wiring. Our hotel in Nice was an old convent. And so it was the first like 6 hours I was there, I was like, where's the fun? Because it was very convent-y. There's no music playing. It was very still. Like in the courtyard area, there were like lemon trees. The pool you couldn't see from anywhere. It was like in the side of the mountain. It was like this long, narrow pool, and you just like looked over the side. It wasn't like pool boys with cabanas. You know what I mean? And so I was kind of like, I'm on vacation. I want to have this vacation experience. But it was so serene. And I think just what we needed, even though if it's not like again, it took me like 6 hours to be like, what is this place? And woohoo, like, yeah, where's the noise? But it was so special. It was like really, really, it was really lovely. And I think the fact that there was no stimulation forced us to just like come down into our like bodies and just like be super present in our relationship and like in us, because there weren't all of these like external distractions. So we were in the city of Nice, and so like right outside the front door was a city and all of the things, but for the time being it was like really sweet. So it was really cool. So that was one. I think not having plans connects us in solving and in being in tune to one another in a way that is like really important right now. My other observation is like I am so beckoned by the unknown. It is a critical part of just like, it's like oxygen to me. So like, for example, it was like we went to this amazing restaurant and there were like 3 or 4 things on the menu we wanted to try. It was like, we knew it was amazing. We could have gone back and tried something else. And we've known it would have been a 10. Or go down, 6 different alleyways and find some random place. And maybe it's like a solid 4 on the food, but the experience was new. And so it's like, oh my word, that food was terrible. But that was so fun because it was just new. And so JR having the appetite for that and just me being able to fulfill that sense of like adventure and being like, I don't even care if it's terrible. If it was new, I got this massage. There was at our hotel in Prague, there was like a Thai massage place. Oh, do you know what this is? Mm-hmm. Okay. I did not. When I say that, what does it mean?
It's like, it's pretty intense, right?
Well, it's like the lady was on top of the
that's
bed.
Yes.
As much
you two are there together.
Yes, as often as her feet were on the floor.
Yes.
I was like, she's up here.
Yeah.
So
did JR do it too?
Yes.
It's just you. Okay.
Yes. They're like, we have separate rooms. It was like, I'm like, that's fine. I've been with them a lot. I don't need to be in the same room. So it was a Thai massage place. I didn't know what that meant, which is great. And it was like 140 euros for 2 hours. So
2 hours?
Sign me up. Okay. For sure. You're in for 2 hours. So I was like, I want a new experience. So I got the detox one, and she was like, I couldn't totally understand what was going to happen, which is also fine. But so I'm going to be in a seaweed wrap to start with. Okay. Which smells like seaweed.
Yes, I imagine.
But I did not compute that. Like, so I am laying down, doing my best to keep my eyes closed because it feels just a little safer. And she starts just putting this slimy, cold stuff on me, as seaweed would be. So I was like, okay, here we go. And in Europe, outside of the like tiny triangle of disposable underwear I had on, the rest was fair game. I was like, okay. Okay, even to my armpits.
Wow. I mean, that's where you detox. That's what they say.
Is it?
Yes.
It is? Are you making it up?
No, it's a real
thing. Okay, so anyway, I was wrapped in seaweed, and then she wraps me in saran wrap.
Oh.
I was like, if you were claustrophobic, you would be unwell.
How did she wrap you in saran wrap?
Well, they had saran wrap on over the towels on the bed.
Okay.
And I thought it was like, so it didn't get super goopy.
Who knew you were
I was pretty goopy. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, she starts picking it above the mattress and like wraps me like a mummy. So that was wild. And then that was like the first hour. And then I took a shower, and then I came back for the part where she was on the bed with me, like all fours behind you with like your arms up over your head. I was like, what is happening? This is wild. I was like, anyways.
How did JR come out of that?
I don't know. He said it felt pretty traditional. Mine did not. I don't know what traditional means to him, but it was a situation. So if you see Thai massage and you're looking for a new experience,
that's what that is.
You'll get it. So anyways, Europe. There we go. Okay. I think that's kind of, I always love to like shop cool new stuff in Europe.
Yeah. What did you find?
Favorite thing I bought was this brand called Jimmy Fairley. Have you heard of it? I hadn't either. It's a sunglasses brand.
Okay.
They're made in France. And their thing kind of is having like the chains, like, from your glasses. And so I bought one of those and I came home and wore them, and Ainsley said it was giving kind of chic grandma. So this is my...
Is that where you want to be?
I'm in my chic grandma era. I think they're cool. So Jimmy Fairley, I tried to get them shipped to the US because once I realized like these were really cool. You know, you're like shopping around and you're like, I don't know. I was like, I'll just find them in Prague, but they're only in France and they don't ship to the US yet. So anyway, I guess keep our eye on it. Jimmy Fairley, or if you're going to France, look up. And they're not like crazy price. Like they're not wild. They're not like $500, you know. It's like, I think 140 euros or something. You know what I mean? Like super, not like, what are the ones that I love that are $30? Gooder. Love those. Not like Gooder. They're a little fancier, but
not like.
Yeah. Not like Celine or Prada where it's like $400. I just can't get there with sunglasses. They're plastic.
I know. Yeah. That's
you know,
my feeling. And they're probably going to get grabbed by a baby and broken in half.
Yeah. And scratched in my purse. I don't know. I just can't get my head around it. So, okay. I think that's
awesome. So you and JR in April.
Yes.
In your marriage check-in, you came out of that and said, well, you came out of that and said a different number. But I remember JR coming out of that and saying you all were a 6.
Yes. Or maybe, yeah. Yes.
6, 7, something like that. I think you said 8. 8,
we were at least 2 points apart.
Yeah, it's usually you're always a little higher, a little more optimistic.
Yeah.
But coming out of that, where do you think you're both at now?
Yeah. So I asked him last night. I was like, where are we on a scale 1 to 10? Some of my friends and my YPO friends are like, it's so crazy that you literally ask for a score. Like, who needs a grade? I was like, the explicit part, it's so helpful to me. Because I do kind of have this like, it'll be fine filter to the world, which can make it difficult for me to discern like when things aren't fine. Just kind of scary, but anyways, we'll go with it. Which is why I have discerning people like you around me. Like you're more like, let's look at this for real. JR is more like, let's look at this for real. Like I have to have those people around me because I'm just like, it'll be fine. And sometimes it's just not fine. So he said we were 9.5 when we were leaving on the last night.
Wow, 9.5. I don't know if JR gives 10, so I feel like that is a 10.
It is a 10. It's my own personal 10. Yeah. It's my ceiling. And I hope that we can work to, a 9.5 is probably not attainable every single day. But I asked him like, what makes it a 9.5? It's like, one is that I'm present to actually see like where he is. And I'm not just moving through the day no matter what. I think I listen more intently when we're away versus like in our day to day. And that helps him feel like seen and important and relevant, which totally makes sense. And I think just like the act of us in exploring a new place together, neither of us is an expert. And both of us being like dominant firstborns, I don't like being underneath his knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me what to do. And he's less like, don't tell me what to do. But I think when we're just in this neutral territory of like, we're both students and we're both learning and we're both adventuring, that is a real way for us to like get on the same page. And so I don't know if there's ways we can simulate that in our like life, but so yeah, 9.5. And we went on a walk the morning we got home because you're up at butt crack 04,
yes.
Because that's how it goes. And I was like, I really love our life. Like I was excited to come home. I was excited to leave and I was excited to come home. And I feel like that's such a gift to love our kids, love our family, love our lives. And so that was like my other takeaway. I'm like, this was not about escaping a thing we hate. It was about going and connecting and having like new experiences together. So our 6.5, our anniversary is in April. I kind of want to spend a few minutes double clicking into this because I feel like as I've gotten some time away from it, I have a few more like epiphanies. And again, this isn't like about our relationship as much as hopefully me sharing our story helps you reflect in places in your own relationship, not being like a 9.5 all the time. So we live in an amazing home and it's, how old is it? Have I told you? Like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, something like that.
So there are parts of it that just don't suit our family perfectly anymore as the kids have gotten older. And some of it is just like getting worn out. And so we need to decide, am I just going to get a new oven or are we going to redo the kitchen? Are we just going to like repair the part of the patio that's like sunken in and gets muddy every single time it rains, or are just going to build it up, or are we going to replace it? So this sort of like, there's enough of these things that it's like, we need to decide what we're doing. Are we remodeling our house? Are we just fixing it to sell it? Are we going to fix it to stay there? Are we going to remodel it all? Like, what are we doing? Or are we moving? And so about a year ago, we started this process of going down the path of remodeling our home. So we hired an architect, we hired a designer, and we went through the whole process. And in that process, I equated if we're hiring an architect and hiring a designer, then we are doing this project. That's why you hire those people. And JR was more, we're hiring these people so that we better understand what we want, what it's going to cost, and then we'll decide if we're going to do it or not. Well, I had spent, 30, 40 hours with these people, vividly seeing this remodel of our home and how we would use it and how we would serve people and how it would just suit our family better. And this would be the kitchen I would cook in. I was like, it was like, oh my word, I transported our family into this house and I was in love with it because of course, if you're going to spend a bunch of money to do something, you should love it. So when we got to kind of this line of like, okay, it's time to decide if we're going to go, no go. It wasn't a no-go. It was just, we're not a go, which is a no-go.
Yeah.
And I kind of was a brat about it. Like, I was like, I've put all this work into this thing and now we're just going to like not do anything. And JR was like, no, we have more information now. And the price came back like 170% of what our budget was.
Right. Like way beyond.
It was, and that was before you even built anything. So
right.
People say you're probably going to go over 10 to 20% on top of that. So it was like, it was insane. That is a fact. And I was undeterred by that because that's my personality.
That's okay, actually.
Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll figure it out. And I couldn't like think logically about it because I was so emotionally invested in this beautiful home and this, all the things that I was like dreaming of, that it all felt practical to me because I was emotionally invested in this like thing that I dreamt up with these people who are more than happy to spend money we may or may not have. And then I put JR in this position because I was not being rational of him having to be the one who said no, which is like a crappy place to put him in because now he's the no police and I'm putting him in the role of like stealing my dreams, right, basically yes. Like you're a dream crusher. And the thing that I did not see at all was that I made him feel very inadequate in how he's providing for our family. Because I was like, what do you mean we can't afford to do this? Was what he felt me saying. And that was soul crushing for me that I made him feel that way. And I'm so grateful that he was able to say like, this is how this makes me feel. Like, this is insane. And you're looking at me like this is the base expectation. Meaning Tiffany is looking at me, JR, as if this is the base expectation. And you're just like, so what do you think? Is kind of what I was doing. And he's like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? Like this wasn't, right. We weren't saying these words to each other, but this is essentially what's playing out. And he's like, what do you mean? What do I mean? This is like 200% of our budget. And I'm like, totally,
Yeah.
Isn't it great? It'll be super. And I just couldn't see it practically. I just needed to back away from the whole thing for a couple of months because I was like, felt like I had to kind of bury this dream, which is an overreaction to what is true of it. Like if we still end up remodeling the house, we will do probably 60, 70% of the project. It's not like none of it's possible, but I was sort of like, it's nothing because you get into these like pouty ways. And I don't know, I guess I think part of us being at a 9.5 is just taking a couple months just off of this project, me especially. And me also being able to back away and see like there's some real strategic merit in the process that he is leading our family through with this. Is important to understand what does what we want cost. Okay, that's a data point. We can't say yes to all of that right now. We could wait 5 years. That could be a choice that we make. Or I shared in a previous episode, he went around to our neighbors and said we would be open to buying your home. And actually one replied. And so after July 4th-ish, we're going to get together with them and understand that. And just more stuff comes on the market. So my point in all of this, nobody really cares about where our family lives. But I think sometimes when you're in the heat of a conflict with your spouse, like I could not see how ridiculous I was being. And I was wholly unopen to JR articulating that to me. Mm-hmm. And just like stepping away from it a little bit and realizing like, does JR want anything but the best for our family? Like, no. Like, does he want anything but to make the right financial choice for our family? Like, no. Like, does he want to give me everything that I, that like, not I want, but like he like wants to delight us. Like it's his desire. So I think when I was able to look at that and realize I was mostly the one being insane, I do think there's a couple places he could have maybe communicated a little more clearly, but it might have been my inability to listen.
Yeah.
And so I will.
Well, it just needed some time. Like you said, you invested so much energy and like excitement in it.
Yes. And
That's
I think
hard.
if I would have gone into it and said, hey, I'm going through this process to understand what it could look like and what it costs so that we can look at this, whether or not this option is viable, it would have put me in a more objective place.
Mindset, yeah.
Versus like, hey, signing this means we're doing this. And JR never said signing this contract with these architects means we're doing this. It was my own excitement and inference. So anyways, I just feel like we're going to, obviously you solve better together when you're at a 9.5 than when you're at a 6. And I'm hopeful as we like continue through this journey, because it is it's emotional where you live. Like you've just been doing tons of work to your house. Yeah. And it's like, as a woman, you want to love it and it feel like an extension of your personality and all those things.
One time we wallpapered the tiniest bathroom in the world together. And the fact that we didn't divorce after that was a miracle.
That little one inside your back door.
Terrible. It's the worst 5 hours of my life. That was terrible.
It's very small.
So small.
That's hilarious. So anyways, that's house project update. It's not really about the house. It's more just me not being
life
so
and
insane.
Yeah. What else is happening? What's happening now in your world as we enter July?
Yeah. Do you want to do summer priorities updates or?
Yeah.
Should we do that?
Yeah. Where are you?
So if you've been listening to the pod, we were very intentional coming into summer. Sam and I with our families and for ourselves, and then encouraging all of you as listeners to do the same of like, hey, what are your priorities for the summer so that when everybody's walking around bored or you just get to the end of like 8 to 10 weeks, and you're like, hey. So my summer, I give myself a B.
Well, Europe was a big one.
Yes. One of mine. So I'll go through them real quick. Fully unplugged for our 20th anniversary trip. And I give myself like an A for that. I was pretty unplugged. I was unplugged, connected with the kids, but other than that, really didn't do anything. So that was one check. Give myself an A for that one. Maintain momentum with work priorities. What do you think?
I think we're moving some things.
Yeah. I feel a little scattered in my own world. I had a great conversation offline with Brian Kavicki. He coaches me in my real life. And as I'm moving into this life of and world, he was like, you need to take the exact same success formula that you used at Element 3 and bring it into your world at Life of And. And that was a big wake up call because there are some core disciplines like a scorecard, a behavior cookbook, like what are the things you're going to do every single week, no matter what. I don't have in place in this Life of And world that I've just kind of let be more intuitive. Because I'm like, I don't want, I want to be free. And it actually is not freeing at all. It makes me panicky. So I've got to put those two things in place.
Mm-hmm. That was like right before Europe.
Yes.
So I felt like that was like a good mindset shift.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, now we need
I got to do
it.
that this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to put those two things in place. So I think that will help me feel more confident about whether or not I'm maintaining momentum. Because right now I had kind of shared with you, Sam, I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing enough or not each week. Mm-hmm. And that makes me feel just like a little panicky.
Yeah. Like you're always behind.
Yeah. Even though I might not be. So I don't know, a little lesson. Facilitate 90% completion rate of my family's summer priorities because I'm like the chief operating officer. I like that mindset. And I think we're doing a really good job there.
Is Quincy getting tan?
Quincy's getting tan.
Okay. Well,
yes. Yes. I mean, every 4-year-old should be,
Yeah.
That was one of hers, which is so funny. And then play pickleball 10 times. I said this was going to be my hardest one.
Yes, and it is.
Literally, you and I are going to need to play pickleball full time.
Yeah.
Twice a week.
There's a pickleball court in our neighborhood. So there you go.
We need to go.
We can go play some pickleball.
I have played 0 times.
I know.
0.
Yeah.
Again, this is not a real problem in life, but our pickleball courts at the club that we belong to are not done yet. It's been so hot and rainy. I don't know what the problem is, but it's not really even an excuse. I haven't. has not gotten done on the schedule. So play pickleball 10 times, currently at 0. So Sam and Tiffany,
Yes.
while
10 times in July, just the hottest month of summer.
I know. It's going to be brutal. So I'm 0 on that. So it was a little ambitious, apparently. Okay. Those are my summer priorities. That's what I'm doing. I think overall like a B. But the most important things I think are mostly happening. So
Yeah.
how about you?
I think I'm probably overall a B2. One of my big ones though this summer was for Bryce and I to do a dately weeknight, which we
Dately weeknight?
what did I say? Weekly date night.
That's right. Also a dately weeknight. Sorry.
Just a little mix up
Sorry.
there.
Go ahead. We love you.
Because I felt like, one, we just weren't having a lot of fun together because we're just like logistics all the time with a 10-month-old and a 3-year-old. It just felt like we were always having to do things around them or surrounding them, or like it's just not fun to really take them out and do things yet or go on a family vacation. It's like they're just too young for that to be a fun experience at this point. So we decided to do something every week that's just like a fun thing that we would normally like to do that we haven't been able to do in recent years with just having little kids. So we've been doing really well at that. We've hit it every week so far. I think except 1 week, but we ended up doing like just a date night in because I was like feeling sick.
But tell them what you
worked.
did. You set up a sitter.
Yeah, we set up a sitter every Tuesday night all summer. So 8 weeks. And then I have like a list of like things that we think are like fun that we just like don't get to do. Like things like Top Golf or going kayaking, things like that you can't necessarily bring little kids to. And yeah, it's gone really well. She comes every week, or if she can't, she'll text me and say like, could we do Thursday instead? And we just like rearrange things. So
I think it's so smart because you set it up to be a system.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same sitter all summer long.
Yep.
So that's one
And the kids
barrier.
get used to her too, which is great.
I think it's so smart. And you had also said like, Bryce, your husband is in sales.
Yeah, so he gets to do fun things all the time. Like he'll go to like steakhouses and he'll go out for drinks and he just like gets to do things like that all the time. Yeah. Goes to the Pacers games, things like that I just don't get to always tag along for, or most of them I don't get to tag along for. I'm with the kids. So he will get like that bucket filled where he feels like he's doing fun things and he's going out to eat and then he just wants to stay home. And I was like, I don't want to stay home. I want to go do the fun thing too. So being able to do that is just like good for our relationship.
Yeah, I think it's so critical to not resent him for getting to go do fun things as a part of his job, because that could totally set into your relationship. It's not his fault. It's just his job. And he's good at it. He's like a social dude. So you're going to put him in that role 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
He's fun and funny and all the things. And so, yeah, take advantage of that part of him and go do fun stuff together versus like getting mad at him about it.
Yep.
It's so easy to just become a victim. And I was just really proud of you. You were like, I set this up. I was like, oh my word, go. So good. So good.
What's happening now though, as you head into July? Ainsley's deep in volleyball.
Yes. So our second one is a volleyball kid. She's very serious about it. She's pretty good. And so I dropped JR and Ainsley off of the airport this morning. They're heading to Dallas for the club sports nationals, volleyball nationals, which is a big deal. And I don't know why I feel compelled to like give a 3 to 4 minute spiel on my own experience with club sports, because my Instagram feed is like filled with either like satirical things about club sports, which are mostly true. Like it's a bizarro world for certain. And we have a kid in club sports, and I don't know, I'm just going to give like my 3-4 minute download on it. I think this is why it's top of mind. I know this is why it's top of mind for me. I was watching this Instagram reel of this other influencer who, like me, has a bunch of kids and businesses. And she was saying how they are a no club sport family, wholly against it. Like her kids are not in club sports because they know we are not a club sport family. And we've decided that. And I respect that wholeheartedly, because it is has an absolute impact on your family culture. Over 6 months, she will play in 14 tournaments, which is almost every other weekend. And so that has a real impact on your ability to go to church together as a family, to support other kids in their activities, or just do family things like, go to Top Golf and go kayaking and do things as a family. It makes it very difficult because you have other commitments in life too. And so that influencer is right. And as a person on the planet by myself, I had no experience as a kid, no formative experience as a kid around sports. And so if someone were to ask me before I had kids, will you support your kids being in club sports? I would have been absolutely not. It's a racket. It's a financial, it's insanity. Why do we need to, travel to Cleveland to play somebody else? She's 13 years old. There's not enough volleyball teams within an hour drive of our house. This is insanity. It's crazy. It's a racket. It's a business. And these kids are just kind of squirrels in the whole thing. But what I can tell you, I think this is our third club season, and Ainsley just turned 14. So she's young. She's 5'10". She's very good. She has a shot at playing in college. But even that is kind of irrelevant, because by the time they get through the club sports thing, you've paid for college. Getting a scholarship or something is kind of a booby prize almost. But what I can tell you in her as a kid and the role club sports is playing in her development as a human being is much more significant than I could have understood. And what I see as we raise these kids, there's all kinds of things that we need to let into our lives that are not necessarily what we would have chosen as a person. You may have a kid who's super into theater. It's I'm not a theater person. That hasn't played a role in my life, but I want to work to support what they need to be able to go do that. And she had to sit out a month this year from the club season because she hurt her back, which could be another complaint against it, is it wasn't overuse, but she was mechanically doing some things wrong. That's what hurt her. But to see where it put her, not being able to have that connection to her teammates, not being able to have just the physical challenge of volleyball and having that in her life, it was a tough road for her. And it plays a really significant role in her feeling challenged and fulfilling her need to be competitive and just kind of how she's wired. So again, this is not hey, this is my advertisement for why families need to do club sports, because that is not what I'm saying at all. But what I'm saying is I think in another world, I would have been that mom on Instagram saying 100% no, we are not doing this club sport thing. I'm not willing to pay the price as a family for this kid to be able to have this opportunity. And I'm in it now, and we're midstream. I mean, she's got 4 more years of club sports. We've been in it 3. And I understand that our family is making sacrifices for her to have this opportunity. And I see that this is a big enough thing for her development as a human that it's a cost that's okay to make. So I guess it's to me, it's I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. Not even a summary. That's just it. So, okay. I hope you guys are loving your summer. And even if you're not loving your summer, I hope that you're laughing at the parts that are just oh my word, what a mess. Because sometimes it's a little bit of a mess. My house is a permanent sticky mess. Because everybody's home and everybody's eating food, except that nobody wants what's in the fridge. So that's how it's going. All right. Go do the things. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to The Life of And. This is your weekly reminder to keep making bold choices, saying clear yeses, and holding space for what matters most. As always, if you like this episode, I'd love for you to drop a review and share it with your friend. It's the fastest way that we can grow the show. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.